The fight over a Republican-led push to change the definition of marriage in our state's constitution heats up. Republicans want to ensure unions between same-sex couples cannot be legally recognized in North Carolina. Meanwhile, opponents say it's a matter of equal rights. One group sent a document yesterday to lawmakers stating its opinions about this issue. And joining us to talk about it is Interim Executive Director of Equality NC, Alex Miller. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Tell us about the document that you sent.
Well, this is a document called The Truth About the Marriage Amendment, and it really lays out all the facts, all the figures and data about the potential impact of this legislation for our state. And that went out to all 170 members of the legislature yesterday for them to review over the weekend and really to consider that information carefully before they vote.
And do you think it'll make a difference?
I hope it will. I think we've heard from legislators that they want to hear information about this issue. They want to hear data, and it's all in one place. It's very easy to read and lays out exactly what the impact would be of putting this not only on the ballot but in the Constitution. And universally, it's a negative impact. It's bad for the state national reputation. It's certainly bad for business. It can really cause a lot of legal confusion over what benefits private companies can offer. It can really do damage to our domestic violence laws and protections that they offer. And it really just sets up a 14-month campaign to talk about whether some folks in our state are deserving of second-class citizenship, and that can be really harmful and damaging. You know, the American Academy of Pediatrics has come out very strongly against measures like this because they can be so damaging to children.
And as far as the other issues that we're involved, if you don't get the vote for the union between same-sex couples being recognized, what about addressing some of the other issues, hospital visitations, end-of-life decisions, life insurance policies? Will you guys settle for anything like that, your group?
Well, I think both versions of this legislation are really discriminatory and harmful, and we wouldn't support either one of them. There are two versions. One would prohibit same-sex marriages. It would ban same-sex marriages in our state and put that in our Constitution. And the other would not only ban same-sex marriages, but also civil unions and domestic partnerships. So, for example, we have thousands of public employees right now who receive domestic partner benefits for their partners, both same-sex couples and heterosexual couples receiving those benefits, and they would lose those benefits immediately if the Senate version of the bill was passed into law. And that's the version that we've heard from lawmakers they intend to try to vote on week after next.
And Equality North Carolina has stated that many polls show more Americans are now favoring marriage equality. If this bill does not pass this time, what will be your efforts in the future?
Well, really, this vote is not about allowing same-sex marriage. This would not legalize same-sex marriage. This is really about keeping things the way that they are. We have a law in the books right now. There's never been a court challenge to it. There's never been a legislative challenge to it. You know, I can't speak to the long-term future because we're so concerned with the short-term future and the real harm that this piece of legislation could cause. And so we're focusing all our efforts on trying to stop this. And, you know, I can say that those national polls for the first time this year, every major national poll has shown that a majority of Americans, over 50% of all race, age, demographics, all political parties support full marriage equality, which is, again, not what we're talking about in this state. A nonpartisan poll from Elon University polling showed that a majority of North Carolinians are against this constitutional amendment, feel that it's wrong, it's a distraction from the real challenges that we face. And in that poll, only 35% of North Carolinians said there should be no legal recognition for same-sex couples, which would be the situation if the Senate version of this bill were passed.
All right, Alex Miller, thank you so much for being with us. This
Absolutely.
is an issue that, of course, we'll continue to cover, but we appreciate you stopping by and talking with us.
Sure, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. This week, Republican lawmakers rallied in Raleigh to get more support for a constitutional ban on same-sex marriages. North Carolina already prohibits same-sex marriage, but some want a stronger law that would change the state constitution. They say recognizing gay unions would devalue marriage for everyone else.
The more illegitimacy we have, the more poverty we have, the less educational attainment we have, the less productivity, and you will see that in future generations.
Any proposed amendment to the state constitution must be passed by a 3/5 majority in both the House and Senate before it goes on the ballot. If passed by the General Assembly, the Defense of Marriage Act would go before voters in November 2012.